Now we will read about the significance of urbanism. The earliest cities in the Mesopotamia was found date back in the Bronze Age. And bronze is an alloy which is a mixture of two metal, that is copper and tin. And if we look at the geography of Mesopotamia, we will find that there are no resources like copper and tin. It means they must have been brought from outside, from other civilizations. And we have talked about the other civilizations also in the previous class. So there was external relation of Mesopotamian people to the people of other civilization. Cities and towns are not the places of the large population. Rather, there are certain other features which make a city, a town, different from a village. It is when an economy develops in spheres, when economy develops in other spheres of economic activities, like apart from the primary activity, if people are engaged in secondary and tertiary activity, and if there is development in these two kind of activities also, then people start clustering in the towns, and large concentration of people can only be found in the town when there is development in secondary and tertiary activities. And you can see that most of the people in the towns and cities are engaged in the tertiary and secondary activities, and there is hardly any person who is involved in the primary activity, that is agriculture and mining. Urban economies comprise besides food production, trade. So trade is a part of tertiary activity. Manufactures, that is also part of secondary activity, and services, again a part of tertiary activities. So mainly the people who live in the town are involved in the secondary and tertiary activities. City people are not self-sufficient. It means they remain dependent on other people also. And example is also given there, the carver of stone seal. And you have also seen a picture in your book that is of Varka hat. So that was a art piece which was developed by the artisan. So for the development of that kind of art piece, there is requirement of certain kind of tools as well as the raw material. Like for making a stone seal, we require bronze tool. To carve a seal or to carve a sculpture, we require a bronze tool. We also require the color stone for making the sculpture. The bronze tool maker needs metal. Bronze tool maker doesn't bring metal from outside the civilization or outside the country. Rather, it is brought by some other people. So he remained dependent upon those people for the availability of bronze to make the tools from the bronze. Charcoal is also required for making the bronze tool. So they remain dependent on the service and production by the other people. So we can see that there is interdependency among the people in the city life, and this is called the division of labor. So division of labor is a mark of urban life which is not found in the rural areas. Now you can see that there are so many things which used to be brought in the cities of Mesopotamian civilization. So there must be some social organization in place which used to control all these affairs. And like fuel, metal, various stones, wood, etc. come mainly from different places for the city manufacturers. Thus organized trade and storage is required. And there were many people who were involved in this kind of business. There are deliveries of grain and other food items from the village to the city, and food supplies need to be stored and distributed. So many things used to be given, and so many things used to be purchased from outside. So this required to have a proper record, and for record keeping they also required some written word or some written language. In this way, this helped in the development of language also. Apart from that, there may be some people who were engaged in that kind of transportation, who used to bring a number of things from outside into the city, as well as who used to take so many products from the city to the outside or to other areas or to other civilization. So there was also a requirement of the transporter, and a number of people were engaged in transport activities as well. Now there was transport between the city and other areas. So how the movements of goods used to take place in the cities. Food resources were abundant in Mesopotamia because the agriculture of Mesopotamia was quite good. There used to be a large production of the wheat, barley, and some other agricultural products, so there was no lack or no dearth of food resources in Mesopotamia. But it lacked certain other resources like the stone, wood, metal, and certain other kind of minerals were not found in the Mesopotamian civilization. So they imported wood, copper, tin, silver, gold, shell, and all these material from other areas like the Turkey and Iran. Like wood which is found in the Mesopotamian civilization, that was of date palm and poplar tree, and that wood is not that hard, which is suitable for making the bullock cart. And bullock cart was the main mode of transportation in the city and surrounding area. So bullock cart requires good quality of wood, and that was purchased from outside. Copper was also not found in Mesopotamia to make the bronze tool. Tin is also a requirement for making the bronze tool, and copper was brought from the Omani civilization, that is also called Dilmun civilization at that time. And tin was brought from Cyprus, which is near Turkey, and silver and gold were also brought from outside. They exported textile and food resources. When they used to purchase these things from other civilizations, so they had to give certain other things as a barter, as it is required in the barter system. So they used to give textile and resources to the people of other civilization. And a good network of transportation was also required to fetch all these material from other areas to the civilization of Mesopotamia. And as you know that the bulk supply of these material cannot be provided with the help of bullock cart only. So there was a requirement of alternate mode of transportation, and for that they required the natural channels of the river Euphrates for as the transportation route. And in this way Euphrates became a world trade route at that time, because these river channels were used as the medium of transportation. You can see that this is the picture of the city of Mesopotamia, and here you can see that these are the small channels of the river, and they were used as the transportation medium, and the things were brought and they were sold out to other places through these routes. So these were the routes who used to ensure the movement of goods into the city. Secondly, you can see that the streets are very narrow and they are also not regular. The city was not well planned, so it was very difficult to provide the goods to the household in that city, and mainly they were supplied on the back of a donkey or some other animals. Next is the development of writing. As we discussed that there was a lot of transaction which used to take place in the city, and to keep the record of the transaction we required a language, because so many transactions cannot be remembered by a human being. So they require certain mode of recording these transactions, and for that they developed a language. Now what is the language? Language is the spoken sound which conveys certain meaning, and when this language is represented through some symbols, then it becomes a script. So spoken sounds are represented in visible signs in a written script. So the first Mesopotamian tablet, which was found 3200 BCE, contained such kind of symbols, and they were like the pictures. So the picture like symbols were used in the oldest Mesopotamian tablet, and which was the oldest record of a written language. You can see that this is a specimen of that tablet, and these kinds of symbols were used in that tablet. Like you can see that this is the symbol of an oxen, this is the symbol of a fish. So there used to be picture like symbols and picture like script was there in Mesopotamian civilizations. And we have come across a number of clay tablets like this from the city of Ur and Uruk, and clearly writing began when society needed to keep a record of transaction, because city life transactions occurred at different times and involved many people and variety of goods. So to keep the record of these things they developed a writing system, and writing system was developed on a clay tablet, and this is the specimen of that kind of clay tablet where the letter used to be pressed on a wet clay. You can see that how the letters used to be pressed and how the letters used to be written on a clay tablet. First of all, a wet clay is taken and it is smoothened from its surface, and the letters used to be pressed with the end of a reed cut obliquely, and in this way he would press wedge-shaped cuneiform signs onto the smoothened surface of clay while it was still moist. And after writing the letters on the clay, it used to look like this. And this system of writing was called cuneiform writing. And to make it permanent, they used to dry the wet clay, and when it gets dried, the letters used to become permanent and they could not be changed thereafter. And to make it more permanent, the wet clay, when it becomes dry, it used to be baked in the fire also, and in this way that becomes a terracotta clay tablet, and it used to be more permanent in nature. Now once a clay tablet gets dried, signs could not be pressed on it because it used to become hard and it cannot be changed. So if a transaction is small or it was a large, every transaction required a separate clay tablet. So there were hundreds of clay tablets which have been excavated from Mesopotamian sites. After 2600 BCE, letters became cuneiform and language was Sumerian. And by 2400 BCE, Sumerian was replaced by another language, and that was called Akkadian language. And it continued to be written for the next 2000 years, that is 1st century BCE. It was written, and Akkadian became the language of the Mesopotamia. Now what kind of system of writing used to be there? The sound that a cuneiform sign represented was not a single consonant or a vowel sound, rather it was a syllabic sound. So there were a number of syllables which had to be remembered by a writer, and it was not an easy task, it was a very difficult task. Thus a scribe had to learn hundreds of signs, and he had to write it while keeping the wet clay in one hand, and he used to write with the other hand. So he has to complete his writing work or his written work before it gets dried. So writing was not an easy task, it was a highly skillful craft, and it conveys visual form of the system of sounds in a particular language. And writing was not an everybody's cup of tea, and there was very few people who used to know how to write. So writing was an important skill at that time.